So welcome back. This is Gabriel again, and in our last video, we created this VM. Well, we created the whole configuration, the B switches, port groups to visualize this firewall. That in this case, we're gonna use Opensense, and this video is gonna be the installation of the firewall. So if you'd like to see the last video, just go ahead and then you can watch this video after, so you can see what we are doing, how we are doing it, and why we are doing it. So I'm going to start with this installation. Okay, so we see the configuration. Let's do a quick overview. We have 4 CPUs, 8 gigs of RAM, 60 gigs of hard drive, and we added enough network adapters. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 network adapters, because when you virtualize this kind of firewall and later on you try to add one more network adapter, it becomes a mess. It happened to me a few times. I struggled in a research and I couldn't troubleshoot what was going on until I figured it out. So this is a little bit of experience that I can give you in this video, and that's why I'm doing these videos, so you don't have to spend hours trying to figure out why the newest network card doesn't work or why the firewall stopped working. And it was a nightmare for me. So hopefully you find useful this video, and let's just start the installation. So I'm gonna just fire up this thing here, and now it's just starting. It's gonna take a few minutes. So even if I make this bigger, let's see, bigger. Anyways, while this thing starts, I gotta explain you again or show you again. We were working on this design, right? So we have this setup, which is the Ethernet card 0 is going to be connected to the network that's going to give me internet access. The Ethernet card 1 is going to give me access to my LAN network, and I created a second LAN just to put like probably my IoT devices or my security system, whatever you like. And I created 2 more DMS, actually 2 DMCs, one for a web server, and this web server is gonna connect to the database, a virus database here. And this virus database, it's gonna be accessed only by the web server. No one else is supposed to connect to this network. So because it's just an example, but let's say this is a database that I'm using to collect all the viruses I find online, and I put the code there so nobody has to see them. And my LAN 2 is just like a lab where I can play with this virus and all the things, and it doesn't affect my LAN. So that's the idea. And the third port, I could say the NIC 3, the fourth port, it's the management for the EXXI. So when we started, I started with this thing with my laptop connected to the management port here, and I configured that port to have this IP address 172.29.29.10, and that's where I'm connected right now. But once I install the firewall, I'm gonna be connected like this. So this is the port that I'm using right now, but once I install the firewall and I configure the MAC addresses or the network adapters in the firewall, I'll be connected right here to a physical switch. This switch is gonna have an access point, and my laptop is gonna be connected to that access point to get to the firewall, to the firewall web interface. And we're gonna forget about this port, And then this port number 1 will be connected to the network that's going to give me access to the internet. So that's the idea. Let's see if this thing is still installing. Okay, it's ready for us. And first, you see that in the middle of the screen, it says like OpenSense.local domain and the version of OpenSense. Right below is the LAN, and in parentheses, there is this VMX0, which is the network card that OpenSense sees, and it says that it assigned an IPv4 192.168.1.1. We're going to change that because that's my local network that I'm using in my current network. So that's a conflict right there. We have to change it. Now, OpenSense also is telling me that the one is trying to use the Ethernet card BMX1, and it's getting the IP address, the IPv4 address through a DHCP server, and it didn't get any because I don't have it connected right now. I'm going to connect it later on. I'm going to go behind the HP DL60 and plug the cable that's going to give me internet access. And that's the idea. So now it says, welcome, OpenSense is running in live mode from install media. Please log in as root to continue in live mode, or installer to start the installation. So we're going to start installation. We're going to type installer, and the password, the default password for OpenSense is OpenSense. And now we're going to just configure hitting pretty much enter on every option we see on this installation process. So it's recommending the US keyboard map. That's what I have. So I'm going to just select continue, and it is right there. I'm going to just hit enter, and it's asking me if I want to use the UFS or the ZFS, which either way is okay. I'm going to use the bottom one, the CFS. And I'm going to set no stripe. I only have one hard drive, so it's okay. And install it. You want to use your DA0 VMware virtual disk. That's the only thing I have. I'm going to just press my space bar. I select it. Now I'm going to hit enter because the OK is selected. And it's giving me a warning. Last chance. Are you sure you want to destroy this? Of course, I'm sure. I'm going to move my selection to yes. Hit enter. And let's wait for this process to finish. And we'll see what else we can do here. While this thing installs, I think I'm going to adjust my sound here. So I'm still learning to use my microphone and OBS. This could be my second video, so please guys be patient. I don't have too much experience either broadcasting or recording videos, but I just want to share the things that I've learned with VMware. I had to take a class, and I didn't take the certification, but I think it's good to share whatever I learned, and also share so people don't go through the process of troubleshooting things that are so obvious sometimes. Well, almost 90%. So let's just wait. One of the things that I notice here is once we install OpenSense, we need to reboot the installation of the VM, and then the OpenSense tries to configure itself or select itself some of the interfaces as LAN, as WAN, and we have the chance to select more network interfaces for different LANs, and that's what we're gonna do. So it is done, and now it's asking. I have the chance to change the root password, which I'm not gonna change right now, but you can change it. You should always change it. It's a good practice. But I'm not gonna do it in this video, and we'll do it later on when we do the services in my case, but you can go ahead and do it now. I'm gonna hit OK. I'm gonna select complete installation and reboot. It's gonna wait 5 seconds. Well, I just press enter to continue. And let's just let it reboot. So when you select the kind of partition for this VM, you can select any partition you liked. I'm gonna hit well, it already started. You can select any kind of partition you like. You can do your own research and see what partition is better for your case, or whatever you want to play with. And it's how we learn, right? So like right now it says the VM0 link state changed to app. That's because I have connected a cable behind it, behind the physical appliance, and also I have a cable connected to the VMX1. So the thing is, the VMX1, it's probably the one that we are gonna use for the LAN, but the VMX0 is probably the one that is detecting right now because I'm connected straight to that port, but it's not gonna be the right configuration. That's where the problems start. So let's just wait and we'll figure it out together. Okay, still booting. Okay, now I can log in as root, and I didn't change the default password, so I'm gonna hit. And I'm going to reboot, or I'm gonna actually halt. I'm gonna power it off right now. So that's the option number 5, power off system. So I'm gonna type 5, enter, and it's asking me if I want to proceed. I'm gonna say yes. Okay, now it's off. I'm gonna close this little screen. I'm going to go to edit. I'm gonna change the configuration here. So you can either go to edit or actions, and in actions you can do the edit settings. This one right here at this moment is the same as this one, so it's either or. So I'm gonna go edit settings. It's gonna take us to the same screen I just closed. Make this one bigger. And now this CD DVD, I'm gonna just get rid of it. You just click here and it's gone. We don't have any more this DVD CD because we already installed this thing. I'm gonna save it, and now I'm going to go to this section right here. You can see that the network adapter number 1 is the 1 port. It's the 1 port group, I could say. The 2 is the LAN, the 3 is the LAN 2, the 4 is the DMZ web port group, and so on. The last one is the VM network, which is connected to the EXXI. So for now, we can either configure all of this or at least this one. the one port or the LAN port group, and we have to configure this one, because in order to get to this web interface, we need to cross the network. So if we are here, let me just go back here. If we are here, right, you're gonna cross the LAN, and to get to this part, which is the web interface that we're using with EXSI, this one, we need to cross the whole thing. So we need to configure this one too, which is the VMware management interface. So let's go back here. And the confusing part, for me at least, is starting here. So I'm going to say that I have, look, not that I installed this thing, I have a MAC address. Before, I didn't have it. And now, you can see you have a MAC address ending with 9CV2, and the rest from here to here is the same for all of them right here. See, it's like, actually the 9C is also the same. So the last two characters change on the MAC address, B2BC. The third one, it's C6, and that's what's going to help us to select the right interfaces in the firewall. D0, DA, that's only the ending, MAC address ending with E4. So we need to install the E4 and at least B2 and BC, at least those two. Everything else, we can change it or configure those interfaces later on when we are doing it from the firewall, which I think that's the best idea for this case. So I'm going to start the firewall again. It's just still going. And the process is the same pretty much for PFsense. The only thing that I'm using here, Opensense, is because I had it downloaded already and just uploaded to the data store on the EXXI. But you can do the same with PFsense. And I think I'm going to make a video too with PFsense, because I would like to compare PFsense and Opensense in the IPS and IDS part. Everything else pretty much the same, but there's some things that I like better in PFsense, and there are some things that I like better on Opensense. And somehow I also played a few things with Sonic Wall, but I still like better this either PFsense or Opensense. But don't judge me wrong. Everybody has its favorite. So almost there, guys. Okay. Now, sorry. I was going to sneeze. My allergies, now we have this thing ready to log in. So I'm gonna log in as a root. If I have to click here, root, my password. Now I have access to the menu, but I need to get to the shell as the option number 8. I was typing shell down. Okay, so now we have all those interfaces. If I said if config, I have a bunch of interfaces. I couldn't even see all of them, so I'm going to do one at a time. I'm going to say, I know I have this BMX0, and I have the MAC address. I'm going to start doing my nodes here. I'm gonna say notepad. I have some kind of certificate on the screen. Don't look at it. It's really old. What else? Oh, I have a. If you see here, I have a firewall thing here that I was playing with a few weeks ago. Now I'm gonna do this. This guy here, nope. So I'm gonna do BMX0 as a MAC address ending with the 0. So it's like right there. Then I'm gonna see which one. I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna say if config BMX1, and it's got a BMX1, which up here should be BMX0, and this one has an MAC address ending with B2. Now let's go with the third one. BMX2 has an ending MAC address with DA. Now BMX3 has a MAC address ending with, let's check, BC, and BMX4 has a MAC address of, let's check, E4. Now 5 C6 VMX 5 as a C6. Let's move it to this area right there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 BMX Ethernet adapters. Now let's configure them. So I'm gonna go back to the EXXI configuration right here. Okay, I'm gonna expand all of this. I'm gonna grab my notes, and here every time you install something, it's gonna get different MAC addresses. So this is how I had to do it otherwise. So this one, BMX is 0. The one ending with D0 is this one right here. You can see my mouse. It's the adapter for, it's the web DMZ web port group. So this is gonna be called the network DMZ web network, and it's gonna be right there. Now the one ending with B2, that's the port group, the one port group, the one that's gonna give us access to internet. So that's gonna be 1 net. And the one ending with DA, DA as an apple, I think it's probably this one right here. Yes, it is. So that's the database, the virus database. So it's gonna be DMC virus now BMX3 ending with BC. Where is it? Right there. That's the LAN one. So LAN net now BMX4 ending with E4. If I remember, I saw it right here, the E4. So it's the VM network, the one that's gonna give me access to the EXX5 crossing the LAN or crossing any other network that I have to. So it's gonna be VM net and this one, obviously it's gotta be this one right here, the one ending with C6 right here, the LAN 2, the second LAN. So I'm gonna say LAN 2 net it's gonna be there. So now we have our MAC addresses with the network adapters, and now that's what we need to configure in PFsense. I mean Opensense, sorry. So this can work for either or Opensense or PFsense. So I'm gonna go back to this part right here. I'm gonna go back to the menu, so I have to say exit here, send me back to the menu, and I'm going to assign interfaces. So I need to press option number 1, and it shows me do you want to configure lag now? I'm gonna say no. This is for when you put some switch port together with this thing. We are not doing that here. And oh wait, I said yes. I'm gonna set Control C just in case. Okay, I'm gonna restart again. I'm gonna assign interfaces. If I want to do the lag, I'm gonna say no. I did a mistake a second ago that I said yes, no. And it's asking if I want to configure VLANs. Not right now. And it says enter the one interface or the name. So remember which one was going to be the LAN interface? It's going to be this one right here, the BMX1. So that's why we did this little chart here. So BMX1 is going to be the LAN. So VMX1, enter. And now enter the LAN interface name. So which one was the LAN? This one. Not the LAN 2, but the LAN. By default, the LAN is the one that sometimes you get the like PFsense gives you the DHCP server when you activate it, but Opensense we have to do it manually, if I remember correctly. So it's the BMX3. We're gonna go back there, and I'm gonna say BMX3, and it says enter the optional interface 1 name or auto detection. So I'm gonna say BMX we did 0 1. I'm going to do probably, which one do we do? We did BMX1, we did BMX3. We're gonna do the network, the at least the BMnet, the BMX4. Okay. So I'm gonna say BMX4, and I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna say BMX 0. Hit enter. And BMX 5. And I think we have pretty much all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're fine. All right, we can stop right there, I think. Let's see. 3, 1, 2. Oh, we're missing 2 actually. So BMX 2. And I want to finish. And this is like this. So 1 is going to be BMX 1. LAN is going to be BMX 3. And I think that's at least something to start. If I want to proceed, I'm going to say yes. Let's wait for it. So the thing is, it's taking longer on the one interface because it's trying to get an IP address from the DHCP server, I guess. So let's wait for it. There it goes. Okay. Now, we have the interfaces there, but we need to do something. We need to change this LAN, the LAN IP address network, because that 192.168.1.1 is my local network inside my network. So it's, if I try to do this, it's a conflict. So behind this firewall, we're going to put a different IP address. So we're going to set the interface IP address. So we're going to select option number 2 and enter the number of the interface to configure, which is the LAN. It's going to be number 1. And it says configure IPv4 address LAN interface via DHCP. I'm going to say no. And it says enter the new LAN IPv address. So I'm going to do 172. I'm going to do 22.1. It's a private IP address range, which the 172 goes from 172.16 all the way to .31. So I'm using 22. Hit enter, and it's asking me for the bit count. It's going to be 24 bit, which is the 255.255.0. Okay, and it says for a one, enter the new LAN, and we're going to just leave it like that, none. And it's asking me if I want to configure an IPv6 address for this LAN. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say not again. It's asking me if I want to do a IPv6 via DHCP6 server. I'm going to say no. And I'm going to say none. And this is important here. It says, do you want to enable the DHCP server on LAN? I'm going to say yes. And this is the one that I'm telling you by default. PFsense does it. Opensense, we have to do it here. And I'm going to hit yes. I might be wrong. I don't remember when it was the last time I installed PFsense to do this kind of thing, but it might be a slight difference right there. It's not a problem, I guess. I'm going to say yes, enable it. and it's asking me what is the the range. So I'm gonna start. I usually reserve some static IP addresses for my services, like my storage or my printers. So I'm gonna start probably at 172 that 22 that 22 that, let's say 50, perhaps. Maybe in your network you might want to reserve more, but for me right now it's 50. It's okay. And the end is gonna be 172 that 22 that 22 that 230, perhaps the last one. And if I want to change the web GUI protocol from HTTPS to HTTP, I'm going to say no. If I want to generate a new self-signed web certificate, I'm going to say no. And if I want to restore access default, I'm going to say yes. Why not? And now it says you can now access this web interface through this IP address, which is https://172.22.22.1. So I said possible. We'll see. I still don't have a one IP address for the one interface, the BMX1, because I don't have any cable connected to it. But in a little bit, I'm going to go behind the physical equipment and I'm going to put a cable. For now, let's go back to this one. Now I can go here. I can go through my Wi-Fi that crosses my switch and goes to the LAN port. And because of that, according to this thing, I can reach the 172.22.22.1. So let's check. Do I have my Wi-Fi connected to the right network? No, I have to go and do this one. This is the one that I'm using. I'm going to say connect. It's taking a second, which is okay. Nothing we can do. Let's wait for the connection. I don't have a connection. Yes. Okay. I think it's connected, but I don't have internet access, which is okay. We don't have it yet. So I'm going to go here. And I'm going to use this different one. It's 172.22.22.1. Should work. There you go. Your connection is not private. I'm going to hit advance and proceed to the IP address. And there it is. I'm going to set root, my password. And there it is. So now we can go to the interfaces here. And see, we have LAN, we have optional 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the 1. So we are going to rename from here. Well, first it says this wizard or general wizard will guide you through the initial system configuration. Well, let's do that. Why not? Well, you know what? I don't have yet the network interface connecting to the internet. So I'm gonna just, let's do it in a minute. Okay. So we're going here to the up to one, and I'm gonna say enable interface. Okay. And it says the device is the BMX4. And remember our little diagram that we did here. Actually, where is it? Right here. BMX4 is for the BMnet. Remember that part? So BMX4, I'm going to change the name here. I'm going to say BMnet. VMware Network. Network, wherever. It's just like from based on this thing, I know which one it is now. and I'm gonna enable it, and I have to put this interface IP configuration. This is very important, to static, and let's go down here, IPv6, I mean IPv4 IP address. If you remember, what is it? Let's go here. If you remember, when I configured this EXXI, I gave this IP address 172.29.29.10. So we should put that one in the same network, and it's gonna be 172.29.29.1. And if you saw the last video before this one, when we put this thing here, we configure the EXXI box network port 4, or the VMNIC 3. It's a little bit confusing, I know. I told you guys that we were gonna use 172.29.29.1 on the firewall's Ethernet card later. So this is that moment here. That's it, and it's gonna be a /24. Same side there notation as the EXXI box, and I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna play changes. Okay, now I'm going to the interfaces, and look, it's connecting me to a different one. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say interfaces, and now we have the one, the VM network, the LAN. Let's see who's this guy here, the up2. It's the BMX0. Let's go back to our little chart, and the BMX0 is the DMZ web. So I'm gonna call it DMZ web, and I'm gonna enable interface, and I don't have an IP address yet for this thing, but then I'm gonna disable it. So I'm gonna just save it. I'm gonna apply changes, and now we have the DMZ web, we have the one, we have the LAN, we have the VM network. Let's see which one is this one right here, and this is the VMX5, which in our little chart, VMX5 is the LAN 2. That's the second LAN that we can use. So I want to change the number, the name, I meant LAN 2. I want to just leave it like that, LAN 2. I'm not going to enable yet because I don't have an IP address for that one. And I'm going to apply the changes. Now, we have 1, 2, 3 with proper name. Last one, BMX2. BMX2 is going to be the DMZ virus. So we're going to change the name here, BMZ virus. I'm going to apply the changes, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all we have. And just in case, here in assignments, we can see, according to our little chart here, that the DMZ web, it's a BMX0, and it's got the MAC address ending with D0. It's right here. Now the LAN, the one net, is a BMX1, which is somewhere here, and it's the one ending with B2. It's right here. Now the LAN 2, or the let's go to the DMZ virus, is the BMX2, and is the one ending with the MAC address D8, which is BMX2 ending with D8. This is the part where all my installations used to get in trouble, because these things changed and I couldn't remember, or I couldn't figure out and I thought, okay, if I select it, I install those network cards in the EXXI in order. Why do they move? Till I have to figure out that the MAC address changes the orders. So that's what happened. But in this way, if you kind of map this part, the LANs with the network cards in Opensense of PFsense, because it's the same, I'm telling you, that happened to me more than twice in both of them, with the MAC addresses, you'll be fine. So the point of this video here was to install the firewall and do this part, do the assignment of the interfaces. And now that we have this part done, I'm gonna go behind my physical appliance, change the cables, change the cable here. Like I have this cable here. I'm gonna disconnect myself from here. I'm gonna put a cable here in this part. Okay, so I'm gonna have internet access, and I'm going to have connection to the internet through my LAN. So wait for a second, I'll be right back. And actually, what I can do too from here right now is I have this configure. I'm going to reboot this thing. Why? I usually have this I don't know, practice of rebooting after I install. So I'm gonna just reboot, and I should be able to get to this interface when I'm back. While this reboots, I'm also have to be able to connect this thing. So let's reboot it. I'm gonna say yes, and I'll be right back. So I had to go to the little room where I had the EXXI, change the thing, and let's see how this thing going over here. Obviously, I rebooted this thing, so I'm not gonna see the actual state. This is just like an old screen. It is back, so I'm gonna go root, my password. There it is. Now my WAN interface changed to up. See, it's online, and I can probably show you that I have internet access. See, so I can go to Google. There it is, and we have access. So I can go to the lobby here, dashboard. This is my initial screen. So I have all those services running by default. I have the one. I have a cable connected in the LAN, the VNX. So I should be able to get to this one probably, but I need some rules. So by default, I'm gonna go to the firewall. I'm going to the rules, and I'm going to the LAN. And the LAN has got this default allow LAN to any rule. So I'm gonna go here and see if I have the access. There it is, I have the access. So seems like our initial setup is doing okay. And I'm going to go to system. I'm going to configurations, access, everything looks okay. So I think for now this video is going to stop right there. So this is what we did. We install this guy right here in the middle, the firewall. In this case, it was Opensense. We added the network cards and configure which network card with the network that we wanted to select, and it is working fine. The great confusion I had was when I installed the firewall and I didn't research which MAC addresses were the right MAC address for the LAN and the WAN, and nothing worked. That's frustrating. But hopefully you learn from this one, and I'll see you in the next video. We're going to configure some services. I don't know which one yet. If you want to put in the comments below which services you would like to see, that could be great. Otherwise, I'm going to just start selecting any random services and making more videos based on this. We're going to get to the point where we have this web server installed here. We're going to get to install database here, which is going to be most likely Postgres. And what else we can do? IPS and IDS detections. So there's a lot of things to do with this lab. Hopefully you like it. Please subscribe to my channel if you want some notifications, and if you give me a like, that would be good. Otherwise, it's fine. Thanks for stopping by, and see you soon in the next video.